Office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and to our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe, especially those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, also on DBS television. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to all of you. My name is Andre Paul, the co-host of the show. To my immediate right, not every day is Christmas, for the ladies. Sometimes, men come first, man. So today, man, Tony's giving it to you, man. To my immediate right, none other than the great Tony Paul.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I see Kina, a little applause there. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our listeners and our viewers. We welcome you to another show. This, of course, is Hard Drive.
Yeah, and last but not least, co-host number two, the lovely Kina. Mm-hmm. Morning, Kina.
Good morning, Andre Paul. Good morning, Tony Paul. Good morning, listeners. Good afternoon, wherever you may be. And thank you all so much to DBS Television for the simulcast.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
How are you feeling?
Still the same. I'm not quite sure what's happening, though.
Yeah, I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Everything I tried doesn't work. I have gone to the doctor and still.
Oh, you did all that? Doctor and all?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Working.
Wow. So sorry to hear that, man.
Come to me.
Okay, that laugh came out with a headache.
Oh gosh! So so that means today we have to temper the laughing.
Yeah, because I laughed and I got my head hurts and my joints hurting right away.
Sure. That's what it would do.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
I needed that because I haven't laughed all weekend. I needed that laugh. Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you feel better. You're in good company. Hassani is still down. Zen is still down.
Oh wow.
Yes. And I know he misses being on the air, but he had this extraction, his wisdom tooth, and apparently it's really giving him some problems.
Maybe he has a dry socket, and he might have to check it out.
A dry socket.
It happens after wisdom tooth extraction sometimes, depending. If he continues to have pain, he might have to go back to his dentist.
Yeah, boy, the wisdom tooth is a tricky one, It's a tricky one. In my case, I don't know what it is for you guys. It's like embedded.
Yeah,
the gum is all over this thing. I was wondering, how is a dentist going to remove this thing?
They do. They actually do.
Yeah. But after shaking your head a few times.
I had all mine extracted, so I have none.
Are you serious?
Mm-mm.
Wow. They come in like pairs or something?
We have 4 wisdom
We have
teeth.
4?
Yes.
No wonder I'm not wise. I don't have that.
Whatever. You just had to put that in there. Good one, Tony. Good one. We know you very wise beyond your years. Whatever.
Yeah. And I think we remember when the wisdom tooth actually surfaced.
Mm-hmm.
That's an experience you don't forget because it's painful. It's actually painful.
It's very, very painful.
So you remember that incident and also the day you have it extracted.
And for some individuals, it's impacted, so it's pushing against the others.
That's right.
And it some people, their teeth, their jaw is small, so it's very, very painful for some individuals as well.
Here's hoping I never experienced that. I'm wondering.
Well, at your age, you haven't. Well, I don't think you ever will.
Again, right? Okay.
I don't think you ever will.
Okay.
No, I highly
Thank
doubt
God
it.
for that.
I highly doubt it.
I heard a lot about it.
You're lucky. Very lucky.
Okay, let me just read something here from JJ's Paradise. Looking for a unique way to relax or celebrate? Well, for just $1,000 EC, you can enjoy a full 24-hour private experience aboard the Sagita boat, Dr. JJ's Mangrove in beautiful Marigo Bay. I was there yesterday, Tony.
Oh,
you were.
Yeah, I went to support the Mother's Day buffet. And that was knocking, man.
What did you?
The food was great.
You had?
The food was great. Yeah, it was great. I had fish.
Again?
Yeah, there was tuna there. And there was a potatoes. I had some potato salad, some nice crispy vegetables and so on. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Now you're getting me jealous.
Yeah, it was. It tasted really good, and you could see Tony, the chefs were busy inside there because I went close to the bar area there, and you could see all the chefs working really hard. And Tony, he had a good.
Yeah.
Man,
Congrats,
people just
JJ.
Kept,
Congrats,
just
JJ.
kept going in
There's
there.
something
Going.
different about JJ's food. It's very consistent.
Yeah.
It's not one time you go and it tastes that way and the other time. Nah, it's very, very consistent. And hats off to the workers there and the chef as well, because they really take it up a notch.
And the price was good, 120 EC dollars
I remember
per
that.
person.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get it better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So it was really nice.
Just throw a little something in there. Was it all you can eat? One serving?
Yeah, one. Yeah, one. Yeah, it wasn't all you can eat. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about time St. Lucia have an all you can eat, Andre.
I think they did one time somewhere in Bois d'Orange, and then
Right,
that closed
right.
down.
That closed down.
It will
After a
have to
while.
close.
I wonder what
Yeah.
happened.
St. Lucia?
St. Lucians, you have to close.
Ah,
You have to close. Yeah. You know way
Why
you can
are you
survive.
so bad?
Imagine I went to an all-you-can-eat restaurant when I went to the States, in Massachusetts, right? And I couldn't eat.
You can eat. Yeah.
Couldn't eat.
This-
Yeah.
The fact there was just so much. So I don't know. I mean, maybe when you're in America, well, in another country, you know how to behave yourself. When you back home,
Yeah. Movie mess.
yeah, it's moving mess.
Yeah.
You're eating until you know what I mean. You probably go and puke and come back again.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so as I was saying,
yes.
this fully furnished boat is yours to enjoy with your crew. I actually thought of you, Tony. Actually, you and the guys
Me and
being
the
on
boys.
that vibe.
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna
Yes,
work it
man.
out.
So whether you're partying, unwinding, or simply soaking in the view, perfect for groups up to 30 to 40 people. Features include kitchen, living room, washroom, and bedrooms. To book or inquire, call 721-7693. That's 721-7693. We'll confirm availability and help you plan your perfect escape.
Yeah.
That number again, JD's Paradise, 721-7693. Now, I thought I was going to see him yesterday. I did call him and say, I'm coming to get you.
But you still did not see him
I didn't see him yesterday.
Okay.
He's always somewhere, just somewhere.
Yeah, but he
Just
was on
allowing
property.
his-
He was on property.
He's always on property.
Yes. So, how's your weekend?
My weekend was twofold.
Do tell.
Really, really difficult and really exciting. You
Okay,
know what I
let's start
mean?
with the exciting part.
The
first.
exciting part
Yes.
was, boy, oh boy, jazz weekend, a Friday night. Enjoyed that to the max. And yesterday, enjoyed it even more with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Can you imagine?
Oh, you were there, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, Andre, why you
The hit after hit after hit.
Let me tell you,
after hit,
Andre,
I can
they
imagine.
dropped them, Kina, they just dropped the hits.
Did they
Fantasy.
do Reason?
Reasons.
They would have done everything.
Reasons.
Yeah.
Fantasy. That's the way of the world.
What?
Andre, Philip Bailey, remember I told you about Philip
Yeah,
Bailey, the
yeah.
falsetto. I was wrong about him doing, yes, he is the leader. He has taken the lead, but him doing the singing of Maurice White part, I was wrong about that. Andre and Kina, they got like 4 different guys doing lead vocals.
Oh, wow.
4. The Maurice White parts and so on.
A combo of sorts.
They were like, and Philip Bailey still have that falsetto, you know what I mean? Reasons. Oh, gosh.
The crowd must have been going wild.
I can
Andre,
imagine,
I was
yeah.
going on. If you all see me on social media, just know, hey, okay, he did want us. Because, there were people.
But that's one of your favorite bands anyway. So if we
My-
do see you
my
on social
favorite-
media,
my favorite band.
we understand.
That's right.
We understand.
And one of them, a lady was filming me and she showed it to me. She's like, hey, look. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
and
put it out there.
And I'm like, no problem, man.
Okay.
No problem. I was
Singing
in the
along
air,
and just dancing and so on.
Dancing. Oh gosh.
So that's great. That's
And
great.
the former controller of customs was Edwin. Yeah, Edwin, he was right behind me. He too was enjoying this. I know of another friend of mine, I wish he was there, which is John Quinlan. I hope you were there, man, enjoying this. Send us a message because today we're going to read the shout outs and so on. Let us know if you were there.
I wonder if the young folks present are familiar with those songs.
I suspect so, Andrew.
Some of them.
Because hits.
and, yeah.
Hits. You ask about the hits. 2 big ones that we have not even mentioned. Let's Groove.
Let's groove tonight.
Andre, they dropped that. And September. Everybody went.
Oh, my
because
God.
young and
Everybody
old
would
know
know
September.
September.
You know what I
Come
mean?
on.
Everybody knows September.
You remember
So,
that?
Andre, it was the whole place was just on fire.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Everybody enjoyed Earth, Wind, and Fire,
yes,
from the
yes.
young to the old. You know what I mean? Big shout out to a couple of folks, Andrew, I saw who said that they listened to us. Our partner, Cuthbert. Yeah, DDA.
Hey,
Oh.
come on, DJ.
Met him. He said, man, he listens and he travels down and uses the West Coast Road. He says, yes, there are some areas where, you know what I mean? I said, yes, we're working on that. We're hoping to change the frequency and all that stuff, So I met Cuthbert. Modest, good morning to you as well. Met him and Andre, an old friend of ours, who grew up in La Clary. His, we used to call him a nickname. I'm not going to say it on the radio. Matre.
Which matter? Andre?
No. Matre. Matre was either first or last name. Might have been his first name, Matre. You know where Stoney, the bus driver, lives? You remember who used to live there?
Mhm.
You remember who used to live
yeah.
there? Matre, Andre.
You actually met
Andre, I met Matre the Friday
Oka
night.
Fairblad.
That's right. The Friday night, I told him we were going to give him a big shout out, and I told him I was going to tell you that I met Matre.
He still has locks?
Nah. Wait a second. Maybe he does, but he had a hat on. But if he does, it is probably short. But I doubt.
Wow.
Andre Matre look well.
He's still slim?
Small, yes.
Wow.
Matre look well, Andre.
I often think of that guy. I wonder how he's doing. So he's there, alive and kicking.
Alive and kicking.
So is he based in St. Lucia?
No, not at all. Still in the USA.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, so while I'm at it, Lynn gave you a call this morning. You
Yes,
recognize the
I
voice?
recognize the
eventually?
voice, yeah.
Right. He was talking about the light and all that stuff. Let me give a big shout out to his, because I keep forgetting. The people are there. The people listening to us. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Auntie Loretta. Hi, good morning. Because and of course Uncle Claude. That's his mom and dad.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yes. Big shout out to all the other folks that we met, and they say they listen to the Rev Up. We really do appreciate it. What a time! Let me tell you, what a time. Whew.
When you say time, what do you mean?
Andre, what a time that everybody had. First off,
You mean at the event?
Entire,
Okay.
And not
Okay.
just event, Andre, the entire jazz festival, well attended. People just enjoyed themselves. People sometimes talk about the lineup. You're going to get those who talk about the lineup and so on, but no. All in all, it was just great.
I think the lineup had something for everyone. And
I think
that's
so too,
what
exactly.
was amazing
Because-
the last couple of years, because there's something for everyone to enjoy. From country to reggae to dancehall to zouk to compa. You just
Well
name
said.
it. You
Well
know?
said.
Did you
oldies.
did you attend any of the events?
I was at home not well.
Yes,
in
that's
bed.
true. That's true.
Oh,
That's
okay.
true.
Down,
That's true.
gone.
Yeah, man. So, Aikina, well said. Nola was mentioning they should change. And Nola, I could appreciate what you said. Honestly, I could appreciate what she said. What she said was that they should just change the name, make it just call it a music festival instead. But Andrew was correct in saying, but there's a lot of jazz in there.
pure
There's a
jazz.
lot of jazz components in there. as
Ronald
well.
Boo Hinkson, our
Was-
very
was
own, was
Part of
jazzing
the
up
ultimate
the place.
experience
Exactly.
on the final day. So,
Payne,
yeah.
what's Payne's first name again, Lord?
There was someone
Richard
else.
Payne.
Richard Payne was part
with
of
Blue
it.
Mango. Jazz.
Jazz.
Beautiful.
Then there's a part, pure jazz, I think that happened earlier on in the week.
Pure jazz,
there's
Wednesday
so many
night.
different components in
That's
there
right.
of jazz itself.
Exactly.
We had a St. Lucian visiting from the UK. I think her name is Olympia or something.
You got
she
that
too,
right.
Did amazingly as well. So for
Beautiful
me,
vocals.
the highlight based on the videos that I did see, I think St. Lucian talent really stood strong, and I have to
Yes.
commend all
Yes.
our very own St. Lucians who took to the stage and made us proud again. And for me, Ricky T is our very own, exudes excellence every time he takes to the stage. And I said this last week, and I will say it again right here. I want to see Ricky T as a headliner for St. Lucia Jazz next year for Caribbean Fusion. That's what I really want to see, because Ricky T has been representing St. Lucia really, really well. And every time Ricky T takes to the stage, he brings that energy. He brings everything. And the videos that I saw on social media of Ricky T performance, I love it. I wasn't there.
I was.
I wasn't there.
I was.
But just where I was in the comfort of my own home, I couldn't have gone because I was not well. But Ricky T definitely delivered, and he needs to take the spotlight as the headline act for St. Lucia Jazz for Caribbean Fusion. Hopefully next year, the following year. For me, that's what I want to see.
I've mentioned three of them. I did that, I think, during the countdown on Saturday. Ricky T, that you just mentioned, Arthur Alain, and Teddyson John. Those are the three for now that are just leading as far as I am concerned. Okay, and I do believe that, like you said, these guys could probably be, what do you call it, a headliner?
Headliners.
That's probably pushing
Yeah.
it. But
I think we need to really do justice to our very own, especially when they're representing us so well. Ricky T has been doing it for years. Arthur Allen has been doing it for years. TJ has been doing it for years. I think was Bo Hinkson a headliner one time? If I believe years ago. No. But
Maybe
really,
Kina, but
there's
no-
so
not that I
many.
could remember.
There's so many of our very own. I'd love to see headlining our jazz events.
he would have headlined, I think, the Fringe Some of the fringe events.
Not the fringe. I'm talking main stage.
Okay, main stage probably
Yeah, I'm talking
probably
main
not.
stage.
Probably
I
not.
want to see that happen.
Yeah, like a Boo Hinkson or
Yeah.
a headliner. No. So far, no.
All right. Okay. Well, while you were playing, I was working. Hey, yes,
Good.
yes.
I heard one of the listeners give you a big up for the Friday in particular, and
Yeah.
of course, I'd love to hear.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, I play for 4 hours, which I don't normally do.
8 to
Wow.
midnight.
Yeah, 8 to midnight. I don't normally do that, but it gives me a chance to really explore.
Explore your music catalog.
Exactly.
Right.
So I kind of like it like that about it. But as I finished at midnight, there people started quarreling with me.
They want more.
My
want
dax.
more?
They
Yeah.
want more.
Oh,
They were
wow.
quarreling. They were
Wow.
So
They
what
were
did you start
quarreling.
your set with?
Country Western.
I thought maybe because it was 4 hours.
you, duh.
I assume that because it was 4 hours, you maybe started with maybe a little zouk or something. Or
I mean,
a
all
little
that's
groovy
included. All
or
that's
something
included.
or whatever.
All that's included. But you know,
Yeah.
usually it's the Country and Western. That's what they
Okay.
like.
Oh.
So yeah, but people were digging endless
That's what
hours.
they were. That's what it was.
They were digging endless hours on me. I tell them sorry. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
It is what
so,
it is.
So yeah, so I think we'll have to work on that. See how we can.
You think
know,
you could push a 5 to 6 hour set?
Hour. I'm too young for this sort of thing. So last night I was down in Chazelle, and that was well attended, man. I mean, whoa, man, these people had a whale of a time, then. I tell you, said nothing better than say I they're playing music and people are enjoying that stuff. Man, I get a high from that thing.
Yeah.
They were having a whale of a time.
Again, mostly country, right?
Yes, yeah, no, but I mean, you mix it up. You mix it up, and I think last night in particular, the ladies were, you know, longing to hear some stuff to get them going. So, man, you should see them, man. Whether young, old, man, they're going on the floor, going up, back, down. I say, boy, what? So, yeah, while
So
you
you
guys,
were in your glory, boy.
while you they playing, yeah, while they're working, as they're working.
Oh,
So, yeah, so thank you to all the fans who came out last night. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, I just want to mention a couple of other things. The Tomazo bread place. Today is going to be saltfish bouillon.
Saltfish bouillon.
Yeah, saltfish bouillon. Kind of sounds a little strange, but yeah, it apparently it sells well. Yeah,
Oh,
saltfish
nice.
bouillon.
Does
So
it
those
have
of you who,
spinach in it?
I'm not sure. I've never had it, to be honest with you. I've never had it. I'm more Bax bouillon kind of fella.
Bax bouillon, not pigtail, no.
No, you know,
No.
you know, last week I bought a pig bouillon pigtail. I didn't even know it was a pig that was
Really?
there.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know. It's when I look at the thing, I say, what?
So what did you do
I
then?
say, what? I just put it aside.
You put the pork a piece
Yeah,
aside,
just
but
put it
you
aside.
enjoy the rest of it.
Oh,
The stock
you
was
do-
good.
Oh, you can do that.
The stock was
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
you
not-
can do
I'm
that.
not
You
that
can do
extreme.
what? I don't know. I like what?
I'm not
Okay.
that
He
extreme.
doesn't eat
Pork.
pork,
Yeah.
but
Right.
you would put it aside and eat what's.
Yeah, because the stock was good. Yeah, there was lentils, a lot of lentils inside them. Lentils,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong. But the
You
thing
can't go
itself, when I look at now, you know, they told me they had bouillon there at that
So you
particular
just
place. I just
figured
pay, give it to me. I said, wow, okay. When I said, wait a second, what's this strange looking thing? Yeah, man. Yeah, me and Pig, we're not friends at all.
No friends.
So yeah, man. So saltfish bouillon today at the Tomazo Bread Place, and of course, don't forget the sea moss flavors, including coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch.
I've never had the coconut flavor.
What I must pick up a couple for you. The regular sea moss there with flaxseed and chia seeds. Yeah, healthy stuff.
Oh, nice.
Healthy stuff.
Nice.
So don't forget to go check out the Tomazo Bread Place today for your saltfish bouillon. Now, I just want to say something concerning Mother's Day. You know what I feel, and let me get your take on that. I feel that if a mom, which most moms do, most moms do a good job at raising children and so on, and the moms make a kind of sacrifices, boy.
yeah.
We have no idea what the sacrifices that some moms make on our behalf, all right? We have no idea. The mothers just seem to have this instinct. It's just the way they just want to protect their child, and their child comes first, and that's just the way that they are, all right? And I feel that if the mom has done a very, very good job, to me, the father should be given a little break, and the kids should take the moms out. I think this, the kid should be the one, the children should be the ones taking the moms out for the lunch or the dinner or whatever, and not necessarily with it. I think they tend to leave that to the fathers to
a lot
do
of
that.
times.
Yeah, so they figure, and that's what I was saying earlier about taking people for granted. Yeah, I was saying so earlier, where we figure, oh, the person is there and they'll always be there kind of thing, until there's a song, there's a country and western song that talks about put my mother on the line. It's called a phone call to heaven. And the guy,
I played
that
that
song?
on Friday. Yeah.
It's not normally played at country and western dances, because it's such a sad song.
Okay.
And I think it's a guy, obviously, with regret, that maybe he should have said something to his mom, and he didn't say. The whole thing we take them for granted, and now he's asking whether there's a phone line in heaven, and so he can tell his mom one more time. Man, that song is so moving. It's so moving. You must play that one on your show.
I'll play it again, but I did play it on Friday. Someone called and requested it to all mothers listening.
Yeah.
Who have passed
So I'm just
on.
suggesting to the offspring out there. Yeah, don't leave that to the father to do. You take your mom out.
I think
in some families they actually do.
I don't say no.
The
I don't say
children
no.
are part of it, but I think that's a great idea.
That's exactly what I was coming to say. I think that is an excellent idea. And one of the things I'm just going to add to that is I think you never really understand what the sacrifices that your parents, I'm going to say parents for now, your parents make for you until you have your own child.
You're right.
When you have your own child, you think, you're saying to yourself, wait a second.
That's what my mother went through. yeah, that's right.
Real.
And for some individuals who don't have children like me, you then understand, the weight of the bills when it comes at the end of the month, or having to get up and to cook because mommy did everything or daddy did everything. So then you have more appreciation for your parents because you're now living it every single day.
When you hear a lady give you a story, says to you, I had 8 children, and that lady was working as a cleaner at some school or something.
Yes.
And for that lady she said, I raised 8 children. You think she raised the 8 children? She couldn't have done that on her own.
Right.
No way. Right? She had to survive. She had to ensure that those kids went to school and things like that, right?
She had to
make sure that they clothed.
They were clothed.
We have no idea the sacrifices these mothers make. Now, I'm glad you said that a while ago. Now, the fathers now tend to get a bad rap. I can tell you that fathers make a lot of sacrifices. Fathers are the ones who literally sacrifice their health for the sake of their children. I can tell you that. Because if you see your father really, really does love you, he'll go out of his way. Okay? He'll do whatever he has to do to ensure that you are okay, that you're fine, you're comfortable. And I think sometimes you don't recognize the sacrifices. I think fathers have it rough. Fathers get a lot of licks. When I say licks, meaning a lot of licks out there. They get a lot of pressure. They're abused. In some instances, fathers are abused because you don't know what's going on there. The father has to humble himself depending on maybe his level of education, that sort of thing. And people take advantage of these individuals simply because they know, upani baka or upani no, right?
But it's maybe going back to a lot of the times, Andre, because it's almost like Peter paying for Paul, where fathers get the bad rap because it's like, okay, I'm with this lady, I've given her, we do have a child, and I'm up doing my own thing. I'm always out with my friends. I'm never at home. So the mother is left doing everything at home. And not only that, when the relationship ends, there's so much tension that's in that household, him not providing. We don't know why. Obviously, of late, we were hearing that some mothers make it very, very difficult for fathers to provide for their children because they are no longer in a relationship with them. And we're hearing that of late because fathers do want to spend time with their children. And some women are making it very difficult by actually telling children that, your father is a bad father, he's not there, he's there, and trying to create that wedge between the father and the child. So till it's too late, maybe 20, 30 years later, that's when they find out. But there are fathers out there that are definitely, doing good by their children and working really, really hard to provide.
Yes, and as I said a while ago, you don't see it, but these fathers who really, really do care and trying to provide for their children, they get it rough, really, really rough. And they get some good blows.
I'm glad you mentioned that again, the good blows that they get.
Yes.
I thought you were referring to John Public, who say, boy, fathers ain't doing nothing. And Father's Day is just so small compared to Mother's Day. You know what I mean? But there are good fathers.
Yes.
And,
when I said good blows, I mean the stress that they have to go under to ensure that they provide for their children. right? And I can speak from personal experience because I know what I have to do to ensure that my children are okay, to the point where I literally leave myself behind, my needs. I don't want, my needs. I have to put that aside because I know their needs come first. Okay? So we get a lot of blows, man. A lot of blows. Like, for example, me leaving where I was last night at 1 o'clock in the morning there and come home, right? You know what I did? What I have to do, because I'm supposed to be here at 4:30. I just sat on the couch. I sat there, put the alarm clock close to me, and I just sat there waiting for the hour. I said, at least I get a little hour in between. Hey, boy, next thing you know, and beep, things start, and time to wake up. I said, man, might take a little 5 minutes again, 5 minutes, an hour.
That's a huge sacrifice, actually.
Yeah, and to go in and for a shower that time, they make sure that water cold enough to wake you up. Yeah. So, the risks involved of driving. And talking about it, let me just slip into something like very, very quickly. The work on the West Coast Road has improved a lot. Okay, especially between Ancillary and Canaries. It's improved a lot. I must admit that it's improved a lot. But let me say this to the minister. I don't know who the contractors are. You see that little portion of road after you leave Massey cul-de-sac, and before you get to where Pryor's place is there, that building there. Let me tell you, the road is terrible.
Up to now?
28. It's terrible.
Okay.
My gosh, man. I don't know. I mean, there's no good hole to go into anymore. It's just a whole bunch of holes left, right, and center. Why do they have to leave it like that?
What's the problem?
Why do they have to leave it like that?
Yeah.
And now, the Millennium Highway has improved a lot as well. I must admit that. Okay, it's improved a lot.
Improved?
Yes, improved a lot.
Yeah.
Not done?
No, at all. There's a certain portion there just before you get the roundabout. I don't know what the problem is. That thing is it's just a mess.
Right.
Okay, I do not know why it's like that,
Yeah.
but it's been so for months. I think the minister says things should be completed by next year. But I'm just saying, man, that portion there where you between Massey, cul-de-sac, and Pryor's building, right? That thing is a complete disaster, and it's terrible. I feel sorry for the people who have to traverse that road every day. I mean, you're talking about messing up your shocks, ball joints, tie rod ends. That's really unfair to be putting motorists through this kind of thing.
So you should maybe
awful.
do a call for it's Namalco, I think that's
Well,
that reconstruction.
well, if it's Namalco, then that's not normal.
C'est pas normal.
Yeah.
They actually definitely have to do something, and there's no signage. It's very difficult to find signage in some areas on that road.
If you only have a little time, well, no, just go take a little drive down there.
I went there
It's
recently, so
terrible.
I experienced it myself.
It's terrible.
I thought it was
It's
better
really
by now
bad.
because I have experienced it
Man.
not too long ago.
Man, just thought I should just mention it.
after Massey heading up, there's this part there, maybe 200 meters, is it? Or a little more.
It was something like that. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
really bad.
Really bad. Anyway, so let's carry on. Let's carry on, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And before we go to the heavy stuff, you got some heavy stuff that you want to jump
Of
into?
course, as always.
Okay, well, let me just say this. The homegrown top 10 that went really, really well. The number one song, Ricky T. Stop Crying. Crying. Yeah, that was the number one song. And it probably fit in well with him performing on the weekend and all of that. It just worked out that way, you know?
great.
So Stop Crying was the number one song. It continues next week. You know, some songs, unfortunately, will probably drop off the charts while make way for new ones, you know, because, hey, that's just the way it works.
What was on your top 10?
What was
On your top 10?
the top
At
10 songs?
Yeah, the top 10. What made it to the top 10?
Okay.
You mean like all the songs you mean?
Yeah.
Shall we have time for that?
No, we don't.
Okay, what was the follow-up? Number 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we could talk about the top 2 then. Both. Okay, no, I'll leave that part out. Frass was the number 2 song.
Oh, okay. So Stop Crying, groovy, fast, kind of power soca.
Yeah.
Kind of bouillon like. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, man. Those are the top 2 songs.
Good.
Yeah, man. So it worked out really, really well. Thanks to our sponsor, as always, with the St. Lucia. Well, of course, it's Heineken St. Lucia, who are the agents for Climax.
A big thank you to the folks at Heineken.
Most definitely.
Windward and Leeward Brewery, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of broke off from the Windward and Leeward Brewery kind of thing. It's just Heineken St. Lucia. There's Heineken St. Lucia. There's also like Guinness and so on. And there's Piton, who have their own separate thing. All right? Because I kept saying, remember there was a time I kept saying Windward and Leeward Brewery.
So you were corrected.
I was corrected by the
Okay.
brand manager who said to me, it's Heineken St. Lucia. And one of the products that they have there would be the same energy drink. And it came out well on Saturday because I kept saying, stock up on your energy drink because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Stock up on Climax. For this big weekend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it worked out well.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. Top 10. Look out for it every Saturday from 10 o'clock.
And you know, Tony and Kina, I don't know about you all. I always look at people who are really, really popular, whether St. Lucian, regional or international, and to see the way that they carry themselves and the way that their character. And I just find that Ricky T has really kept himself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy for him.
I find Ricky T has really.
Yes, he has.
I see him around. I see him
Very
around.
humble.
Better than me. I don't see Ricky. Maybe
I
because
see
I
him
don't go
around.
anywhere.
Just by ducks.
He does be by ducks.
By ducks, he comes back.
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes. He just walks inside there, usually by himself. He never in some partners. He's just on his own little vibe.
What?
Yeah.
He'll come there very quietly, sit there very quietly. You swear he's not even around.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very.
I find that
it's always
cool.
like that.
I find that cool. Right?
No big scene like
No
you come
big
there with your
scene.
entourage
Still
and all
very
of that.
soft-spoken as well.
Say again?
Very soft-spoken too.
Uh-huh.
Until he takes to the stage and he just
I've
lets
spoken to
everything
so.
loose.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a couple of times. And you call him Mr. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Paul, Mr. Paul. Yeah, seriously, he's really, really kept himself well.
Yes, he has.
Right, because when
Proud of
you
him.
compare that to a lot of the other artists here in St. Lucia, they make a big splash, and all of a sudden they just go into this zone,
Yeah.
and they just begin to fizzle out. But I find Ricky
Yeah,
Tizzle
Ricky T.
now.
The tizzle, man.
Tizzle.
Tizzle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tizzle again.
Yeah.
So he's kept himself well. So
Right.
so bravo,
Yes,
Ricky T.
yes.
One last thing from me, Andre. Check out our website. This is so interesting. You go to the website, you can just search and look for whatever it is that you want to look for. You see us, the crew, right there, and different areas in which you want to go listen to us, whether it be Facebook, which is what we're on right now. We're also on YouTube and X. Choose your choice.
And if you want more information about the shows, which is the Hard Drive, the Rev-Up Center, old school jams, you could find it all on the website as well.
It's beautiful, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I had a look at it.
The upgrade is just really beautiful.
Yeah, phenomenal. Good stuff, good stuff. And well, we have to thank Cosmos
Yes.
for setting things up.
Putting it
Cosmos
all
did a
together.
good job.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm hoping that the top 10 at least could be there as well. Now that
Oh,
I've
yes,
said it,
good
you know
idea,
what I mean?
Tony.
Top 10 in there, not necessarily
Right.
the songs, but the list.
The list,
of
the
it.
listing.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And let's say one thing too. Cosmos is really a talented guy.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, he got
Oh,
skills.
yeah.
He
he
Cosmos
got
got
some
skills.
skills.
He's talented. One of the things I like about him is dependable.
Yes, very
Very
dependable.
consistent too.
Yes.
And
very consistent.
very knowledgeable
And
about
very
his
knowledgeable
craft.
about- right. Yeah,
That boy is
consistent.
good. And Andre and Kina, one of the things I realized about him is if he does not know, we're going to research that, boy.
That's true.
We're going to research that now. Yeah.
So it was a good pick to have him as part of the
have him
team.
as part of the
Yes.
team.
Yeah,
Most
good
definitely.
pick for sure. Very 99% of the time dependable, and I like that.
Yes.
And as Kina said, consistent. I like that.
One of those, when you call him and he does not answer his phone, bet your life he'll call you
He'll
back.
call you
Call
back.
back, yeah.
Yes, and that's where a lot of St. Lucians fail
Feel.
from top down, right? So maybe it's a St. Lucian thing where they don't return calls. Yeah, maybe.
Fire might be saying, hey, but what am I? I'm a Lucian? At least for now.
No,
by now, he should be a St.
I
Lucian.
don't think it's a Lucian thing. It's all about principle and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And some people do, respect others' perspective on certain things. I call back. It's almost like, how would I feel if someone were to do it to me? So someone calls, you see the missed call, just call back. You just never know. Don't
They
think
see
about
the missed call, they
Yeah.
see it, they don't, okay, they see it, they don't take
it. And
it
they
on,
come up
they
with
don't
an
call
excuse
back.
the following
Yeah,
day.
they don't
or
call
so
back
on or
at all.
whatever.
And you now in a quandary, do I keep calling this person? Right? Because I always say it's only one missed call. That's all you need, one missed call. And sometimes say people keep calling. It's one missed call, and
It's
if you're
one missed
important, the
call,
person
yeah.
going to respond. And for you to not respond, and you have a phone, right? What do you have it for? You occupy a position of authority and influence and power, and you just ignore. I mean, Tony, now you're into marketing. I think you're getting a taste of what that's like.
What?
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, man.
Andre, it is terrible. It is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Gosh, I'll just put this little piece in there. The marketing people, those of you who are in charge of marketing for these companies, the easiest thing to just tell a person is, no, we're not quite prepared as yet, instead of just ignoring the call. Gosh, man.
It's been happening for years and it continues.
Yeah, just and we're
call
not
them
quite
and it's like,
prepared, for
whatever.
the advertising. But when we do, nice and easy. When we are ready, we'll definitely contact you.
Don't even
Case
talk
closed,
about
I ain't calling you again.
responding to emails. That's a definite, like,
What?
they don't respond to emails.
Anyway, all right.
Fine.
Okay.
Yes, there was another thing I was going to say. Yes, okay. You mentioned the threads, Andre. Burning out the threads, man. We're on DBS, bringing up the threads.
yes,
you know what I mean?
While we're at it, let's say good morning to the folks on DBS for checking us
Linda,
out.
Tristan, and the team over at DBS.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
And of course, don't forget the viewers, that's for
The
sure.
viewers
Yes,
as well. Good
yes.
morning. good
And
morning.
just to remind our listeners and viewers, we are back with the shout outs. Get them in
yes,
so that we can,
Yeah.
can mention you towards the end of the program. We've kept a half hour for that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
a half
Yeah,
hour.
about
Don't forget it's a half hour.
Yes.
Okay? Alrighty. All right. So that's it.
Andrew, I have one boy, but
Go ahead. No,
just
go ahead.
hit on that.
Go ahead.
Because you always ask me, and I say, boy, one of these days I will come with stuff. Anything
That's
else?
fine. That's fine.
Andre, mostly Andre, I know you have a little bit in you too. The war between India and Pakistan. Is it over? I read something like it's
No,
ceasefire.
it's not.
Ceasefire.
There's a ceasefire, but that's just for a little while.
Andre
Let's hope.
and Kina.
Let's hope you're wrong about that. I hope. I
You know what I'm
hope
saying?
I hope they're gonna work it out.
Yeah.
Got another war again, man.
Yeah.
another
Neighbors.
one would be like,
Yeah.
nah.
Neighbors,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ukraine and Russia. What do you think? They're neighbors.
again.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Gaza,
Gaza,
Israel, neighbors.
Right.
In fact, they're actually relatives.
Yes, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that I say that because remember, we kind of lost Paul St. Rose. Remember Paul St. Rose? Remember
Yeah.
that name? I hope he's back. Paul, if you're back, send us a message on Facebook as always. Because of cricket in India, Andre and Kina, there's this IPL, the Indian Premier League. That's the biggest T20 competition in the world, and that was ceased because of
Yes.
the war.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right.
Because I think India is accusing Pakistan of terrorism. I think they started over some tourists who were visiting Indian-administered Kashmir.
Kashmir,
And
that's
they
right.
attacked the
At the
people,
time when they
killed them, and
attacked
so on.
them,
Now Pakistan said they don't know anything about that.
Pakistan did come out and say they don't know anything about that.
That's what I'm
And they
talking
just
about.
believe-
You
believe
you
them.
go, girl. That's why I said Andre mostly, but I know you would
Yeah,
have
they
this.
didn't know.
Now,
But
you
at
see-
the end of the day, a few people died. I think it was 20-something people who died in that first instance. And India came back and said, okay, if you're going to say y'all don't do anything about it, we're going to hit back. And they did strike back.
Yeah, that's the buzzword these days. Strike.
Strike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
they
to
did
Israel
strike
for that.
Yeah.
Strike. I'll strike you.
Yeah.
You strike me, I'll strike you back.
Air raids in particular.
Yeah. Oh, they love that because it limits the possibility, but it limits casualties on their part. So they just
From the top.
yeah.
And I'm happy that they've gotten to that point because on Friday, I think Friday or Thursday evening, Pakistan did issue a blackout for the entire country. And when that happened, I was like, no way, please don't tell me this is it. They're really going to war. And so that happening now is like a bit relieved.
So
Definitely.
I'm just curious, why the interest in that war and not Gaza? I'm curious to know.
Cricket.
I know you're cricket, right? So maybe that's it for you, Tony. Yeah, I was curious.
Good
I
question.
was really
For me,
curious.
I didn't really see. I mean, Pakistan and India have a history of war from since the 1400s, right? Back in 1400s, then in the 1950s, 1970s as well. But when I heard talk about it, I was like, nah, that's not going to happen. Why? And then when I did research on it, it's tensions, border, same thing with Gaza and the same
Yeah.
thing. And I'm thinking, nah, that's not going to happen because we're dealing with Gaza right now in the news, and so nah. And then when it really happened, I was like, whoa, it happened so quickly. Like really, really quickly. By the time you check, like a week, it's like I said it on air, the week and the following week, then the tensions just shifted. So for me, it just came out of nowhere. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. So, Andrew, to answer your question, that, you know what I mean, the interest in cricket, and Andrew, in the middle of the thing, not middle, towards the end, when the thing is getting really, really hot, you realize, wait a second, where's the cricket? You know what I mean? Then you want to know what went
What's
down.
going on?
But for the Gaza thing, it's been going on for so long, you know what I mean? But it's bad, though.
It's
Don't
really
get me
bad.
wrong, Andre. It is bad, especially when you talk about the children and all of that that's affected and they're dying. It is really, really bad.
And now they're starving, not just dying.
That's right.
It's slow starvation.
That's
It's
right.
Death.
Okay, and the world is just sitting back and allowing this thing to happen.
Yeah.
And you know why, Tony? You know why? Because there's no country who can match, well, to some degree, yes, America, yeah. Because if you try and tackle them, they will tackle you.
Yeah.
They
and,
do,
and you don't stand much of a chance.
Right. And
However,
their allies and so on, you know, people who will back up the USA as well.
Yeah, they'll back up because they don't have much of a choice, right? It's either they for America,
Yeah.
all right, or
against.
for Israel, or against. And if you're against and you try anything, America will attack you.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. So you don't stand a chance,
Yeah.
right? Anyway, but there's a very important point I want to make.
You remember the point?
Okay, yes, go ahead, Tony.
What makes, I mean, I know you know you love this and you're into this. What makes America, the United States of America, such a powerhouse in terms of war and so on?
the military,
The military.
and also the stockpile of nuclear weapons.
Really? More than anybody else, as far as you think?
No, I think Russia has
I think
more.
Russia has
more, but China can match them. That's for sure.
No, that's what I'm thinking. China, well, North Korea not in that. North
No.
Korea just have
I
on their
think
own
India and
vibe.
Pakistan also have their own
they
as
do.
well. So
They do.
They're way
That's
on
right.
top there too.
They do. But you know, this morning, right, I came across something and I said, boy, you know, we can learn a lot of lessons from that. I said we have a lot to talk about. But let me just, since we're talking about the Gaza thing there quickly, China, remember there's this trade war, right, where Trump came and Trump started imposing tariffs, playing bad boy,
Yes.
right? It went up to 100 and 25% tariffs.
Yeah.
And guess what? And China just kept matching.
Yes.
Say
Yes.
you going up, I going up too. I going up too. Okay. Now, Tony, remember a long time ago? I think that's way before Kina probably wasn't even born yet. There was a movie, a series called Bonanza. Remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember that? David?
She would probably know it. Maybe watching, if you like that kind of thing, watching the replays.
It's like old cowboy thing.
Not that I remember.
Yeah.
No.
Bonanza, you've never really heard of
No,
Bonanza?
not
Okay.
really.
Yeah,
All right,
we
no
before
problem.
time. Now, Tony, I know as kids we used to watch that.
Right.
We used to watch that. Now, you remember there was the family, the Bonanza family.
Cartwright.
Yeah, the Cartwright family, right? And they own a lot of property and
That's
so on,
right.
right? And there was a Chinese guy
Who worked for them?
who worked for the
In the
family
house.
in the
Yeah.
house. That's right.
Yeah.
And his role was
Minuscule.
minuscule. This guy would just come there. You see him for a second, and what would you see him doing? Just bowing.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
just
Yes.
bowing, which they still do today.
Yes.
Right, out of
Yes.
respect and so on.
Right.
He's just bowing, and that was it. That
That's
was
true.
it, right? Because China was considered a nobody, a nobody. But you know, I think there's this song, the changing fortunes of time. Yeah, the changing fortunes of time. So now the thing has changed completely. When now China now has become this powerhouse
Yeah.
to the point they can actually, if China and America were to go to war, and you're talking about pound for pound in terms of nuclear weapons, the entire world would just be destroyed.
Yeah. I
Many
think
times
so
over.
too. Yeah,
Many times
I
over.
think so too.
Now, notice that they stood up to America when nobody else, not even England, was standing up to America.
The only country to do so.
That's right. It's the only country to do that. But you could only do that when you are heavy.
That's right. That's
When you
right.
are
Yeah.
heavy. All right? And China is just as heavy as America.
Yeah.
America needs them, and they need America.
Yeah.
So right now, imagine that Donald Trump now had to back down
From the tariffs.
Yeah, well, right now they have a 90-day pause. Okay, so for now it's just going to be 10%.
Which is good.
That's cool.
Just going to
Yeah.
be 10%.
That's cool.
Until they work things out.
I'm glad
now,
you mentioned that.
Yeah,
man.
Tony. Now, Tony, that says something. I was talking to Anthony about it last night. Okay, the way life works is that if you do not have name and if you don't have baka, People push you around.
Mm-hmm.
People push you around, especially when they know you need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it is incumbent upon us as individuals. I said to Anthony last night, have you ever had a desire to be rich? Ask him that question. Have you ever had a desire to be rich? I said, for me, I never gave any thought to that about being rich before. I didn't see the point. I figure, okay, live my life, cool. I don't have today, I have tomorrow, kind of thing. That's how I live. But I began to realize that without money and without influence, you ain't nothing, man.
That's true.
Yeah, it is.
You need to have not just have money, because you could have money and you're a fool anyway.
Yeah.
But to have money and you have influence. Let me give you a little example. When Jesus Christ died, the disciples, all that power that they had healing people and so on, they could not go and touch Jesus' body. They could not get it. Okay? It had to take a rich man, not just a rich man, a man who have influence, meaning Tony and Kina, he has influence with the higher ups in society. The Roman army and Roman emperor and this and that and the other. And he went to them, right? I forgot the name of this individual. And he said to them, I'd like to have his body. And they gave it to him. The disciples themselves could not go because these guys were, quote unquote, nobodies. They were not rich. They had no influence. They couldn't do anything. It had to take a rich guy. So the point I'm making is that if China had just allowed themselves to be mediocre, just a little ordinary power in the world, they couldn't have stood up to the mighty bully the way that they did. And to the point where they had to come to the negotiating table and say, hey, let's work this out. And they're going to work it out. Let's bet they work it out.
I really hope they do.
I really hope they do, actually. It feels like a much-needed break, especially with all the tensions and tariffs being thrown on the percentage as well, and how it would have impacted. We're just looking at St. Lucian context here.
That's what I was coming to it.
Okay.
St. Lucia would have just get licks in that.
Exactly. Exactly.
What?
So, Tony, just when you contrast what happened back then, Bonanza, with the little Chinese man, and the cameo role he played. Today, Tony, when you see a movie with Chinese, that's a different kettle up.
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
That's
I do not know what happened, what led to it, but they probably began to realize we need to have power and influence as well, and we're going to set some goals for ourselves to become powerful and influential in this world. And they did it.
It probably started with the Kung Fu movies.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
Yeah, Tony. Maybe so.
That just shut them up.
Yes, that's true.
I think all over the world enjoyed. You had your Bruce Lees and so on. Andrew, I was shocked, Kina. I was shocked. I think I'm right. I read it. Bruce Lee was born in the USA.
I think so.
Bruce Lee was born in the United States of America.
So.
And of course, with his Chinese parents and so on, so back and forth and so on. Bruce Lee, growing up, you mentioned Bonanza, Green Hornet.
Oh yes,
Kato. He played a part called
Kato.
Kato.
You would know Green Hornet. Yeah, forget about that one.
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if it's maybe something 20 years ago or whatever. But the name sounds.
And let me tell you, the Green Hornet was an American superhero.
Right.
He had a mask. on, and he had, I think, a hat or something. Tony, a felt hat or something.
Think he had the hat, yes.
Right. And then he had Kato, played by Bruce Lee.
Let
me tell you something. For us as the kids, we don't want to see what the guy doing. We want to see what Kato doing.
Karate.
It's karate.
I think everybody was into karate back in the day.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was a thing on DBS too.
DBS actually, yes. DBS started showing karate movies. That's right. That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So that's probably where it started, and they realized, okay, we're importing this and so on, and
you're right, Tony. You're right. Exporting.
I meant to say export.
Yeah, those movies because the Americans themselves love those movies.
Right.
And Tony, of course, we were head over heels when it comes to those movies.
That's right.
I mean, when we passed by the Getty Cinema there, usually Getty got the best ones, right? Most of them,
the better ones.
And we just take a look at the poster. Oh boy.
That's right. Just the poster.
Yeah, Silver Fox man in that.
Yeah.
Let me see Silver Fox here. That would be good.
So, Andre, speaking of which, I know you say you have some heavy stuff to get into, but
I probably wouldn't want to get into this heavy stuff.
Yeah, it's just about 9 minutes.
Andre, now that we're older, the fox, Silver Fox, the guy you call
Hong
Silver
Cheng
Fox,
Lee.
that's the one right there, Andre. Andre.
What's his name?
Hong Cheng Li.
Yeah.
Yes, I.
Andre Mate was really bad for
Tony Mate was good.
Andre, hands and he had the
Yes,
skills,
skills.
man. When you try like northern kicks, come and find his foot and so on. My mate just
Tony, that's not how the man was doing that. Pleasure.
find the foot. You know, that's true. Like that.
That's what he was doing?
Yeah.
Without even dropping it. There's a
You have to
wash,
make the sound.
wash.
And Tony, and you know Tony, you know it was Meg.
And just slim.
Yeah, Meg fella.
Yes.
Very, very slim, yeah.
And like I said, the star would
And the
do
stance,
that
yes,
kind, those kind of
yeah.
kicks, all right? Would kick three fellas at one time, bam, 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 without even.
Yes.
Fox was doing the same thing and even better. Fox would have just put his foot up like that, bam, bam, and the other thing where he just jumps and he.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes,
you,
yes.
as I said, you know what I'm talking about? On their chest and so on.
Yeah.
That was one of his favorite moves.
Three kicks.
And he stands.
And he just
When he stands like
Or
Yeah.
he'd give three fellas, each one get a kick.
exactly
across their face, right?
Simultaneously.
Pa, 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 pa.
No, the chest.
and so on. You know, and he was super good.
Man.
Super good.
Yeah.
Man.
And then you had the other one who was just, he had grace. What's his name
I
again?
wonder if it's Wang Tao.
Not one, well, Wang Tao, he didn't have grace, but but it was the other one who was in Monkey, whatever he was.
Jackie Chan.
No, Tony,
Not Jackie,
he had
before
grace,
Jackie
man. He had grace. That guy was just
Star or villain?
Star. One time he was a villain and bid him again. He was a villain. I was the only
Chen
time-
Sing.
Not Chen Sing. Chen Sing
Don't
didn't have no
move to
grace.
China or what?
Chen Sing, yeah, Chen Sing didn't have
He didn't have any
Yeah.
grace, man.
Yeah.
So, you know the guy. That's our partner.
We saw him like a lot of movies.
A lot. I'm just forgetting his name now.
Andrew, I can't think of who. Send us a message quickly as soon as we get to the shout outs. Andrew, I can't think of who. Grace.
Yeah, man, Tony. We talk about him all the time.
But what about Chinese movies back in the day? I thought the honest truth is I really did think that these people were in the air.
You thought they were in the air?
Yeah, man.
Oh, with all them.
For
Yes,
yes,
yes.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
it's blown away. Now I'm an adult. I'm like, okay, that's how it happened.
Yes, and you know, again, we're talking about China here and how they probably developed and so on
They
from
were
the
so
karate
well
movies. They were, for me, with the Chinese movies, so way ahead of
Oh, yeah.
their time. Having the strings, I suppose, when you see the fellas flying, Andres, between strings,
Yes.
they jump in that high, but that we could not see
We
with
could not
our
see the
eyes,
strings.
the strings and so on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Chen Quan Tai.
Chen Quan Tai.
Chen Quan Tai.
Yeah,
That's what I was
Andre
talking
moved
about.
to China.
Chen
You're not-
Quan
you're not-
Tai.
you're not
Chen
Russian
Quan
He
anymore.
had
It's how he
grace.
said
He had
that.
grace. So the point, Anthony, is a very good point that you're making. I think what came out of China was just different. It was different. I think that's what started this whole. I think you're probably right about
Yeah.
that. Started this whole revolution.
Right.
And no doubt they probably raked in a lot of dollars
Yes,
from
yes,
those
yes,
from those
From the
movies.
movies,
Up
yes.
to now, I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, the American film industry. You know, you're talking about a 1 point something how many billion people in China.
In China.
That's a huge market. That's a huge market. So imagine China now clamping down on those things, right? So the movie industry in America would always put pressure on Donald Trump.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
for sure,
right.
for sure.
But I'm just happy for the 90-day pause because it could translate into more stable prices in the
Right.
near future
That's
for
right.
us globally. So that I'm really, really happy about that.
Exactly. So Chen Quan Tai.
Yes.
It was Chen Quan Tai, Chen Quan Chung as well. Meng
Yeah.
Fi, a few of them.
A few of them.
Yeah. Just really, really good stuff, coming from there. Andrew and Kina, one of the other things that China, I understand as well, is one of those countries that has no natural resources, but they're just so good at taking what you have done and making it
Yes.
perhaps even better.
Even better,
Their
yeah.
hands and so on, their skills, their brain.
And for cheaper too.
And that's the thing, you know what I mean?
Way cheaper too, yeah.
So those are among some of the things that made China develop the way they have.
And by the way, I think Don was saying that Russia doesn't have more nuclear weapons than America. They do. Yes, Russia currently has more
They actually
confirmed
do.
nuclear weapons
Yeah.
than the United States. Okay? They said while the U.S. has a larger number of active deployed warheads, Russia's total stockpile is larger. Right? Estimates from 2024 suggest Russia has around 5,580 nuclear warheads, while the U.S. has approximately 5,000.
Funny thing, Andre, is who's writing these things? You understand?
What's that?
What you just read there.
He
Who's
read it from
writing these things
Wikipedia or something.
and saying that Russia has more? How do you know that?
Yeah, they take it from the sources. You have, for example, if you Google something, they will tell you actually have certain names
source.
and so on. They tell you exactly where you get it from.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I know that. That's stuff I know about.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so much for that. Yeah, man. So I was just saying, and I'm saying this to you, Tony, as my brother, and to you, Kina, as my
As your
sister. Yeah, we cannot live our lives in a position of weakness. You can't stand up, you can't say anything, you can't do anything, you just have to accept crap. I remember when I came from the States and I wanted to get into advertising to record stuff. I think I told you all about that already. I went to a gentleman who asked me to come and do an ad for him. The man had me standing outside for about an hour in the hot sun.
That story.
An hour in the hot sun standing there. And I figured, okay, I need the business. You understand? I'm trying to get into the market and so on. And when the man finally invited me into his office, the man dropped one fart inside there.
That's so disrespectful. Very,
The man
very
dropped
disrespectful.
one fart inside there. And imagine, he knew it was so bad, he put on his fan.
I remember that story.
Put on his fan. So, and then I remember there's another place, I wouldn't mention names, I went to another place again, had me standing there for how long?
Really?
Right? Now today that can happen. There's no way that can. The point I'm making is that I put myself in a situation now where I'm a lot stronger. You understand? So now you have to show me more respect.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we do ourselves a favor. Just learn from that China experience. Learn from it, right? That we don't allow people to. We are so weak. We operate, as somebody says, from a position of weakness.
But we should also be mindful, right? With all the wealth that one might have, there's this saying: be mindful of what you do to people as you go up the ladder, because these are the same people that you'll meet going down. And it's something that we don't think about, because sometimes when you're accumulating wealth and prestige and everything else, some individuals have a tendency
To forget.
to forget where they came from and hurt people along the way. And even in our society, you see it happen all
course.
the
All
time.
the time.
Many businesses
All
or
the time.
people with prestige, where are they now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where the humility comes in. And as I mentioned Ricky T earlier, you could see he's a very powerful soca artist, but he tempers that with his humility.
Yes.
And that's what we need to remember, that listen, we're not anything more special than anybody else. It's just that we're just more fortunate sometimes than others. But that's just the way life is. But I'm saying we also have a chance now to make something better of ourselves. And don't just accept life because we figure that's what it is. So many people, Tony and Kina, have transformed their lives, So many people who were just ordinary, used to work at some places that you'd never even think of taking a job there.
Yes.
And today these people be simply because of a decision that they made. A decision to say, you know something, I can do better than that. And today, it's a completely different story. Yeah. Anyway. Learn the lesson, folks, from China. Okay? If you see, it wasn't for the fact that China has become as powerful as they are today, nobody has so far been able to stand up to the United States.
Yeah.
When they put the 125% tariff, China came right back with it. I was like, what? This, yeah?
Yeah.
And America had to back down. Back down. Oh, yes. Okay. Just thought I should mention that.
Yeah, man.
Let's get into the
Shout outs. All right. We missed y'all big time. Let me tell you, we really, really did miss y'all. Over the past last week, we had the Mother's Day, not celebration, but the Mother's Day giveaways. And that went really, really well. As a matter of fact, from all reports, it seems as though that people are satisfied with the way. Yes, with
and
the
our
way.
sponsors are also satisfied.
Right.
And they want more of it. So let's see what happens
Father's Day, that's
Father's
right.
Day,
So,
Father's Day promotion.
all right. You want to roll first, Kino? Or you want me to run with
I
it?
could go first.
All
quickly.
right. Work it.
At 10 a.m., Joella Yard chimed in and she says, "Good morning, Jojo, by the way." She says, "Good morning, Kiki, Tony, and Andre."
Good morning,
Jojo.
Joella.
Joella Yard, good morning. John Quinlan chimed in. He says,
He
"Good
was
morning,
there.
Rev-Up. Of course, I was there.
All right.
This is the second time they were in St. Lucia."
And me too. I saw them both times, John.
Okay. Someone else chimed in, says, "Great vibes on Saturday. I think that's thanks for accepting my call." He says, "Great vibes on Saturday morning, 7 to 11.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, man.
Someone else chimed in, says, "Hey, good morning, Andre, Tony, and Kina. You guys look great on YouTube. What do you guys think about mom's guilt? I love country and western dances, and I hadn't been to one for about 10 years or more. Last night, I decided to go to one. Although I enjoyed myself, I felt guilty the entire time because I left my 3-year-old at home for the first time with his dad."
Don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty.
Sometimes you need a break.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
sometimes
you
you
do.
need a break.
Yeah.
Another person chimed in, says, "Good
Oh,
morning."
once the child is in safe hands.
Especially, she
which is
said,
that.
with her father, with
Yeah.
her or his
With his
father.
father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Someone else chimed in, says, "Pleasant Monday morning to APTP and the lovely Kina. Greetings for a wonderful day to each one of you. Also big up to Mrs. Mary Alexander of Bellevue Choiseul and Mrs. Linda Jabatis of Reunion Choiseul. Y'all regular listeners. Bless love from Tekla Auger of VA4.
All right,
Thank you so
Tekla.
much.
To the two ladies that you mentioned, big up
Mrs.
to
Linda
them.
Jabatis and Mrs. Mary Alexander.
All right.
Good morning to you. Another individual chimed in, says, "Good morning to the Rev-Up crew and family. Guess the sons didn't misbehave by putting much tears in their mom's eyes yesterday. Blessed day, guys."
Well, there's a message there.
Okay. Someone chimed in about the Green Hornet, said, "The Green Hornet, too fast for camera." LOL. Another individual chimed in on what we were talking about earlier. The person first said, "Good morning, Andre, Tony, and Kina. Blessed Monday to you. I have not stopped listening, even if I don't call as often as before. Great Mother's Day show last week, and looking forward to Father's Day." Val Monrose.
Hey, Val. Hi. Good morning.
And she went on to say, "Best karate movie."
It's the guy.
Oh, sorry, Val. My bad. Kisses. Mwah. I took that back. Sorry.
So, while we're on that, let's let our listeners know that we're just trying to compile all the prizes. So when we tell you to come in, we don't have to come back again. No,
Yes.
we're trying to
Okay.
organize everything that we have all the prizes for you. Okay?
Yeah. Val went on to say, "Best karate movie, The Hot, the Cool,
And the vicious. Yes, that was bad. That was bad.
Honestly, one of the best.
One of the best ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Good
Gosh.
story, everything.
What?
Good story. Yeah.
Andrea, just
Martial arts.
I love just a little throw in there. One of my favorite parts when Wang Tao said, "If I want to get out of here or whatever, no one can stop me." And then the vicious came and said, "By Yu Cheng, I can stop you." And so he put a kind of licks on Wang Tao.
Yes. I'm telling you, like Papi Show.
Yeah.
And the thing about the vicious in that movie, when he came, he was limping.
That's right, limping. So you
Yeah.
figure with a humpback.
A humpback, and he's limping,
Oh,
and he's like his face is like looking like it's blem,
Right,
like,
with powder and
yeah.
I mean, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a
and,
freak.
and limping you right through. I
Yeah.
mean, he was good. Wait. he was good.
It was bad.
When he finished with Wang Tao, you know what he said to him? You would need more than 2 fists. That's all you got. You need more than 2 fists to compete with me.
Yes, man.
What?
Even when he came to fight Northern Legs,
Yes,
right?
same thing. Mhm.
These guys were no match,
That's right.
no match for the
Maybe I should
vicious.
start playing karate
vicious
movies again
again.
every Sunday, man. Apparently, that's a thing. And it has always been. So someone said Cheng Sing, Wang Tao, and Feng Shiyu,
Fancy you.
Yeah, Feng Siu.
and who's Bolo.
Big
Bolo.
Okay,
Bolo.
so that's just the names they gave in there.
Big bolo.
Right. Someone sent a voice note. I'm not sure if I should play it.
No. You never
Yeah,
know.
we never know. Yeah,
Right.
we never know.
And Virginia is the final person to chime in, and she says, "Good morning, River family, Andre, Tony, Kina, Emanuela, and everyone else. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. Wishing you all a fantastic Monday. Thanks for accepting my call," says Cheng Kwan Tai
Yes, Changwatai.
Changwatai.
and Hong Si Kong.
Hong Si Kwan.
Kwan.
There's thanks for accepting my call.
Yes.
There's the song that Super
Blue
Boy
Boy.
was Blue Boy back in the day. He did. That's my favorite verse.
I
Actually.
love it.
What?
Yeah. Soka in the Shaolin
Soka in
Temple.
the Shaolin Temple. My favorite verse. That's when he naming these guys. Yes, Kina. When he naming these guys, man like Ling Kwang, Ma Fu Hee, and Chin Sing, with Shaolin monks and abbots in chambers. Oh Lord, concentrating on techniques for fighters. Then Hung Si Kwan and Bolo told me, I remind them of the late Bruce Lee. For my style is orthodox, something like Golden Fox. Well, Chinese start jumping wild when they hear that blue boy Titinji soca style. Who and ha. My favorite verse.
I want to hear the other part again.
Who and ha.
Look at the Shaolin Temple.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our final comment on
Morning,
WhatsApp
Gina.
platform.
Morning, Gina.
So yeah.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
Thank you for being such a loyal fan, Gina.
Loyal fan, Andrew.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Whew, okay. All right. Let's go to the Facebook page and see who's checking in with us. Starting with Dakota McGuire, Cleveland Sealy. She says, good morning, guys. Thank you, Dakota. Have yourself a great day, okay?
Morning,
Good
Dakota.
morning, Dakota.
Followed by John E. Tom. John E. Tom says GM, which is good morning. Sharon Peter says Monday. Good morning, Rev-Up.
Good morning,
Bonjour.
Sharon, good morning to you.
Yes, and she's
one of our good dear friends.
right, and she writes Tony. Thank you, Sharon.
I met her last week.
That's true. That's true. Right.
Oh yeah, she did stop by.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elvin J. Team Workers. The eyes have it. The eyes have it. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Elvin.
John E. Tom says to the Rev-Up family listening, blessed. Good morning.
You as well.
Barbara
Good
Xavier
morning.
says a pleasant Monday to all. Have a lovely day and blessed love. Lucita Jean-Pierre checking in for the first time says, good morning, Andre and Jerome, Tony Paul, and beautiful Kina.
Good morning.
Maybe is your sinus, Kina. Marvelous Monday to all.
No, I'm taking something for that. I have my Claritin. It's still not working.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Pearl Food Baby Henry says, hey, a blessed and wonderful day to all in the chat room and to the Rev-Up family. Thank you, Pearl Food Baby. Julian Leonard says, good morning, Rev-Up family, Tony, Andre, and Kina. Thank you, Julian.
Good morning, Julian.
Joan Challery, bless morning, Andre and Tony and Kina and everyone listening with lots and lots of red lips kisses.
Good morning. Kisses right back.
The expert kisser. Lucita Jean-Pierre. Motivation Monday to all my friends and family on Facebook and Radio Garden. Share the link. My sister D. Francis Obeus, my condolences for the hard drive crew. Be strong. All right, from the hard drive.
That's
Be
from
strong.
D. Francis?
D. Francis. I think, well, no, it's Lucita sending condolences to her. I think she lost her father.
Yes,
Oh.
I think Lucita didn't mention that to me.
Right.
But I think at the time we were doing the Mother's Day.
That's right.
Yeah, so we didn't. Yeah, so let's just say, accept our sympathies and so on.
Sympathies and so
Yeah,
on, yeah.
because she's another big fan of ours.
Definitely.
Yeah, Miss Obeis.
Yes.
Yes, we wish you all the best. All the best. All right? Mm-hmm.
All right. Somebody says, oh, that's Lucita. Is it the same? They're right, Lucita D. Francis. Right. Pius Nappy Yeman says, good morning. Good morning, Pius. Have
Good
yourself
morning,
a great day.
Piers.
Followed by Melanie Destang says, pleasant morning, everyone. Thank you, Melanie. Sharon says, Earth, Wind, and Fire was lit. They were, gosh. Christine Shallery says, blessed morning to all. Thank you, Christine. Barbara Augustine says, good morning, my favorite brothers and Kiki. All in the chat
morning.
room. Good morning. Share the live, people. Thank you so much for that, Barbara. Jan Isaac says, good morning to all. Arthur St. Gis, Andre. Let me say a big shout out to my boy, Arthur St. Gis. He says, AP, all the pork ingredients engulfed in there. You're still eating pork, that's he is strict, Andre.
Very, very.
Oh, okay.
If you touch, you eating chicken and thing, and you know what I mean? And you sometimes you just wipe your hand and touch meat. Arthur going off on you.
You serious?
Yeah, chicken, whatever. Made strict.
Wow, I'm not that extreme. I'm not that extreme. And if I have to eat a piece of pork, I'd probably eat it.
For sure?
Yeah, if I have to. Yeah.
If there's nothing else to eat and you're really hungry, right?
Yeah, something I'd have it. I'm not that extreme.
Okay.
No.
When I was extreme, Andre. Yeah, almost like him.
Yeah, because imagine that you say I go to somebody invites me to lunch or something,
Yes.
and they really wanted me to be there, and that's what they cook. Okay.
Licks.
I mean, I just play a little part.
Okay.
You can take a little piece, take a little piece.
Right.
Yeah, why not?
Good, actually.
Yeah, instead of making the person feel bad.
So things like Christmas ham and thing when they slice that,
No, right, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't eat it.
Right.
But if somebody invites me to their home, and maybe we didn't have that discussion before. I'm not going to play some kind of thing, well, I don't eat that kind of thing.
Maybe you could take everything else and leave out the point.
I mean, there's others, but if that's all the
that's
person
all the
has,
person has.
and they want to share that with me, I would compromise in a situation like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. In other words, you eating pork, but you just don't like it.
He didn't say. He didn't really
Under those
say.
circumstances, I imagine.
Okay. All right. Okay, Lucita Champier, good morning, my sister Salet, which is Salet Dupre. She's saying good morning to
Good
Salet.
morning, Salet.
All right. Jan Blas Warner, good morning. Smiling Kina, Tony and Andre, wishing you all a safe and productive week ahead.
Hi,
Thank
Jan.
you.
Jan, she's been away for a little bit. Welcome back.
For sure?
Yeah.
All right, Jan, welcome. Mervyn Shallery says, hello, crew. Greetings from Montreal.
Hi, Mervyn.
All right,
Good
Mervyn.
morning.
Salet came right back and says, Lucita Jean-Pierre, morning, Han. Have an awesome week. Then Lucita followed, Andre, I agree with you. I'm not expecting no gifts from any man or take me out on Mother's Day. I didn't carry no man for 9 months. That is the job of the children to take their mothers out.
Yeah, I think so. Give the fathers
Yeah,
a little break.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I said this morning. Well said, It really make a lot of sense. Do like the lady said, she went to the first country and western dance in about 10 years, and she left.
left.
Exactly.
Left
Yeah.
the child home with
Exactly.
dad. This is her day, her time.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't feel, guilty about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Life is too short, boy.
Exactly.
Life is so short, so short.
Yeah. All right, Jan Blas Warner said, what happened to the fathers after the breakup want sex before they can provide for the children in the breakup? It goes both ways on either of the sexes. Who feels it knows it. You get it?
No, I didn't quite get the point.
It's a thing that I think you've on different radio shows, different places, you've said that sometimes the fathers want to have sex with the baby mama.
Okay.
To provide.
To provide. Oh yes. That's how I. To be honest, I have never done that.
For sure?
Never. And I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, I will
Never do it.
The father
it's
who
just
does
not in
that
me.
should be in jail, as far as I'm
Yeah, I
concerned.
agree. That kind of arrangement for me to take care of a child. You must have sex with me.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man. As a matter of fact, the more you play your role, the more the mother will want you. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Yeah, so you don't have to fight for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just clear this. I'm not saying anything on that because I can't even think of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not even commenting on it. But yes, for sure. I ain't on that.
Yeah.
All right. Joella Yard, while the Minister of Crime is everywhere on Facebook, flashing jazz, murders are taking place everywhere and not a word about the hypocrites. The rum and the Fet Festival is over. Let's wait to hear about the profits made. So many free tickets were given away. All right. Magdalene Plant says...
I didn't get any, that's for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't
Same
get
here.
any.
let me just mention that. If you are a sponsor of a show, of a fete, whatever, yes, you're going to get complimentary
You're
passes.
going to get complimentary passes.
It's as simple as that. And there are a lot of sponsors who came through, all right? Because the Jazz Festival, in and of itself, you can't really promote it everywhere. For example, advertise then just say, well, I'm spending money there. You do sometimes, as Kina said some time ago, all right? You do this, you sometimes want to be a gold sponsor or a silver sponsor or a bronze sponsor, depending on how much advertising you give to them. Then they in turn give you tickets to give away to sometimes to the listeners and so on, or sometimes to your staff, all right? That happens, okay?
But there's situations, Tony, where constituents get tickets. That does happen. The MP or whoever it is that's responsible, they make sure.
The tickets
It does happen. It does happen. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So exactly. So I was just saying, I didn't come across one for myself.
You didn't want one for yourself.
Well, maybe that
You were too busy with country and western.
That's true.
Magdalene Plant says, morning, Rev-Up family. It was nice seeing Tony in his element last night. Magdalene, you were there. You saw me. I was in my element. I swear to you, I was going off, man. Joella Yard says, we need CIP to be discussed in full. Kina, you need to invite Martinez to Rev Up.
Kira, you have those links?
I didn't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah, those are
was.
links.
Maybe she's just trying to tell me contact him to do an interview. I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, that CIP thing is so complicated. I say it's like going to a movie house and the movie's already started.
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, you enter. It's like,
And a
huh?
lot of people still don't understand it.
It's true.
We were a lot of generally people are struggling to figure out what it is.
Even when they try to explain the
Yeah.
thing about the number of passports in a there's a certain phrase that they use to describe, and they have to say, well, one thing has how many passports in that, and even that's something I find.
It'll be great to have both sides and let them debate. Come with the facts. come
And
with the
that's
figures,
what they do not do, which I
and
find
debate.
which I
would
find
love for that to happen.
which I find really interesting. You have the minister on, for example, right, on a Friday here, or you have the opposition. You will not hear somebody from the incumbent calling in. They will not call.
Right.
And I do not understand that. I mean, has an opportunity to call.
I'd love to have them in
They
the
don't
same
call.
space at the same time.
This one might fight, man.
No, I'll love
might
for that
fight.
to happen going
They might
into
fight.
this the next general election, to have both parties and candidates in the same space at the same time. Let's debate on policies. Let's come tell me what you're gonna do for the communities, what you're gonna do differently for St. Lucia. Have St. Lucians call in, and they weigh both sides. They get, and I think it's about time that we humanize the politicians, because on both sides they're getting flack.
Joella, good morning to you. I'm going to say this. It's a good thing that you are putting it in there where everybody else can see it. But as far as I'm concerned, reading all this political hatred, it's totally unnecessary. So I'm going to pass it straight, honestly. Okay? It's totally unnecessary. On Thursday and Friday, have fun. Okay? Send it for the politicians who are here.
I would love for her
But-
to call in on a
but
Friday.
do you read any? Do they get the opportunity to read the Facebook comments?
What's
the
her name? Nancy used to do it.
show? Okay, so
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
another.
But I would love for Joella to call in on a Friday when the minister is there.
Maybe
That's
she's
what I'm
having
talking about.
difficulty
She wouldn't
getting
call.
through.
That's what I'm talking about. Either call in
Right.
on Friday,
You have members of the opposition United Workers Party. They are free to call in. They will not call in. I do not understand that. Because they're the ones who can make the case the best, because they understand what's going on. I'm just trying to follow this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say something and make myself look like a fool. And even the way that they explain the way the passports thing is organized, I find it's confusing. They themselves tell you it's a little complicated.
Yeah.
But to get somebody to explain it to me in such a simple way that you can understand, I find it's very difficult getting that, Yeah.
Okay. All right. Arthur Charles says Bonanza was the TV Western series. Very true. All right.
Thank you for that.
Norma Plant says, good morning, Rev-Up family. Blessed
Good morning,
Monday to
Norma.
all. All right. Good morning, Lucita. Lucita says, good morning, Uncle Arthur Charles. Catherine McPhee says, good morning, Andre, Tony, and Keena. Hi, Catherine. Good morning to you.
Hi, Catherine.
Good morning.
Nice to hear from you.
Mwah.
Hope it is well with you, family, etc., etc.
Tell hubby Mark we say hello.
Mhm.
All right. China is very cheap. Lucita says China is very cheap. I bought my eyeglasses, $75, whereas in America it costs $950. Bus fare at the time, 11 cents. America over $2. China right to stand with Trump.
Yes, sir.
All right. Most of the things made in China are cheap stuff. That's Joella.
Not really.
Not all.
Not really at all, boy.
No,
They
no,
have
no.
some electric cars. I forgot what it's called. BED or something like that. There's a company, man. That, in fact, they have some of the vehicles right here at the JQ
They have.
lot
I
there.
think it's CW or some.
It's called
some-
B something, BED
Yeah,
or
they have some of them
BDE
here.
or something like that. Let me tell you, you know those vehicles are more expensive than an Audi.
Mm-hmm.
These vehicles are very expensive. These are but fully electric and so on.
All right.
Yeah.
They're very expensive, and this is good quality stuff. These vehicles are all over Europe. They're all over the place. Good quality stuff, man. Good quality stuff. Without a
good
doubt.
quality stuff coming out from China. After all, for iPhone lovers.
All right. So Gibson Charles is checking in, and Gibson says, good morning, my brothers
Good morning,
and Kiki.
Gibson. How are you?
He says the one that I loved the most was Skinny Guy.
Yeah.
There was actually
Yeah, mate.
it's called Skinny Guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You look at the tough chin sing when they say, he's a skinny guy. And the name stay for him.
Yes, imagine that.
All right. Joella says America will still get away to stand with China. All right.
We shall
Mario.
see.
Yeah. Mario, what was the name I said before, and he corrected me? Look at it, Leandre.
Mario Leandre.
Okay, all right. Mario
That's what
Leandre.
it is.
All right. Good morning to you. He says, good morning, guys and lady. Great show.
Thank you,
folks
Mario. Good
are
morning.
great. Thank you, Mario. We appreciate that.
Sorry. It's called BYD.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's
Okay.
called.
Oh, BYD.
BYD.
Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Build your dreams.
Build your dreams.
That's what
Okay,
it
that's what
means.
it means.
Okay,
All
nice.
right. All right. Good boy. All right. Mario came back and said, so, who made the first call? The U.S. or China?
I think the United
US.
States
US,
made the
yeah,
first call
US.
because he did say that he would try to, get in touch with China at some point.
Mm.
The market is huge. You can't ignore China.
Yeah, you can't.
Hey, America will suffer, greatly, man. One time I think China was considered favored nation status.
Mm.
Yeah, favored nation status, man.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Clara Sammy says, bonjour, Mama Saint Lucie. Big up yourself, Rev-Up family.
Bonjour,
Good morning,
Mr.
Clara.
Sammy. All the best to you and your family. Yes, especially your lovely daughter-in-law.
Oh,
Yes.
daughter-in-law, okay.
Yes, the daughter-in-law. She's a very pretty lady.
Mhm.
And of course, to your son, the great one.
How he says it all the time.
The great one. The great one.
So I saw him yesterday.
Oh, you did? He was there?
The great one was there promoting Chairman's Reserve.
Oh, yes. I think he's the
Oh, he's the-
spokesperson.
That's right.
The brand
The
manager.
brand ambassador.
Brand ambassador. Yeah, that's right.
And you know Blah already, yeah? Blah took a pic of that, boy. He was behind the bar, come people, Chairman's Reserve, blah, 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 blah. And I
With that smile of his, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
I say, boy, my brother always call you
Smile.
the great one.
He knows that. He knows that. But let me
Yeah.
ask you. Let's ask a question, right? Maybe a foolish question. Do you think, when you consider his persona, right? Do you think it's a wise thing for him to be, brand ambassador for alcohol?
Now, for me now, yes, because he's not playing anymore. When he was playing, I had a little bit of a problem with it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Now me, you know what I mean?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But again, principle as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
Principle of your athlete and you're promoting alcohol, the use of alcohol and so on. Yes, then. But now, Andre, Darren, go get him, man.
I have to agree with Tony,
All
and
right.
maybe later on Darren will come up with his own brand of drinks.
You know what I'm saying?
He does have a skincare line out, actually.
Really?
They launched it a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Wow, Darren, you go, boy. Okay. All right, so that's Clara checking in and saying big ups to us. Septima Joseph says good morning on a rainy Monday. Where is that, Septima? Cool, yeah, Septima. Joella, Tony, don't tell me what to do. I figured she
knew
was going to
she
be
would come
fine.
In
back.
your skin.
Oh yeah. But okay, don't tell you what to do, Joella. Simple, but I'll tell you on the stuff that we have here. You send some nice stuff. Believe me, I'll read it. The politics, stay out of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sometimes we go past the 11:30.
It's
Yeah,
not
because
it's just
23
back and
minutes
forth,
to
back and
11.
forth, back and forth.
yeah.
Sorry, Joella.
Till
It is what it is.
And we love you dearly. I swear to you, Joella. You
better
know what I
send her
mean?
kisses because she's going to come at you in a good way.
Right, Joella. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. Oh yeah, we love you dearly. I mean, really, really. Okay. She said, "Don't call." I don't call those hypocrites. Maybe when you talk about calling.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
call
okay,
those
okay,
hypocrites.
okay.
All right. Now you lose me as a follower. She says, she actually, now you lose me as a follower when I
She's
am
just
done.
joking.
I'm done.
She's joking.
Okay. Wested Wet, good morning to the host, brothers, and of course, Keena.
Good
Hi,
morning,
Wested
Westies
Wet.
Kisses. Mwah.
Arthur Charles says, morning, Auntie Lucita. Magdalene Plant, good morning to you. She says, don't be like that. Wested Wet, most people who follow politics have no idea what they support. They don't understand policy. Lucy Jane, you need to relax. Let's take that platform as a political Let's take it as a political platform. I always listen but never comment. Relax. St. Lucians love how they live. All right.
You have 5 minutes, Tony. You have 5 minutes.
That's the thing, you know. All right. Wested Wet, Keena, hope mommy had a good Mother's Day.
Yeah, she did.
All right.
She's not here, but she did.
All right. Okay, who else? Lucy Jane, that is your choice. You don't have to listen. Stress is a disease chill, man. That's Lucy Jane. Thank you, Lucy. I hope she gets that. Lucy Jane, quite agree. But this is very nice platform. Listen.
But let's continue reading the others because I think they're referring to Joella at that point.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's leave that alone. Okay. So two more. Johanna, Jahanna, Johanna George. That might be a first one, Andre and Kina. Blessings, Kina, Tony, and Andre. Thank you, Tony. They're trying to turn something beautiful into a nasty political mess. Let Rev-Up remain impartial. I like that. Thank you very much. Clara Simon says, Auntie Joella, we love you dearly. Be good now. Very, very, very much so. I like that as well. Yeah. It's not the place for it. This is a fun thing. We have fun and so on. We talk some nonsense and we get the listeners laughing.
We did mention something political and she was chiming in. But as you said, and Joella, if you haven't tried calling Meet the Minister, that program, maybe you should. And I'm sure she may have, and maybe she's not getting through.
She said she ain't calling them anyway. That's what she said. She says she's not calling those hypocrites. You know what I mean? All right. So, Joella, like I said, we love you dearly. I honestly do. Never met her. You've met her, Andre?
No, just spoken on the phone.
Oh, okay. All right. You too, right?
No, I haven't met her, but she seems like an amazing person.
Honestly, yes. For real.
She is an amazing person.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, we just have about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Let me just mention quickly that we have a new pope.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, we do have a new
yes,
pope.
you're right.
Pope
all of that we were supposed to get into,
14th.
right?
Right.
All of that we were supposed to get into, and we didn't get a chance to
but
do it.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow we can,
For sure. So he's an American, I think, born in Chicago. But what I find is interesting about him is that so far he's been speaking in Latin. Wherever he speaks so far is in I don't know why he's doing that.
But he's not lived in America for more than 20 years.
He speaks many languages.
He speaks many languages, but again.
So why are you speaking in Latin? I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I guess because it's in
Italy. Number 20.
He also worked in
English is the universal language.
That's true.
Okay, so you do come to
write a letter to the Pope, Andre.
No, I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know why he feels he needs to
Maybe
speaking
there's a
in Latin.
reason. I guess eventually we'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, because if you don't ask why, you wouldn't find out.
Yeah, well, you're asking the wrong people.
No, I'm just putting it out there. Why is he speaking in Latin? Remember when they used to have the mass in Latin? Remember, Tony? When we were kids, the priest talking. You don't know what he's talking about. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's choosing to do that. But anyway, I guess he's just starting off. So maybe he's just trying to think. I don't know.
Maybe.
But he's the 267th Pope. Yeah. Wow. Not bad.
Not bad.
He's already speaking about a united church and talking about peace and justice and so on. So I think that's where he's going to be heading in that direction. So I think the world leaders should brace themselves. Yeah, because he's going to be tough. Alrighty, so I want to thank those of you in St. Lucia and across the globe, those of us watching on DBS. Thank you so much for the time. So, Kina, what do you have coming up on the show today?
All that jazz. So I'll touch on that as well. The Wanted Wonder, hit of the day, Rev-Up St. Lucia News with Andre Paul. Also, today is the day for opening statements in the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
Yeah.
So I'll touch on that as well.
You know, they give him an option to plead guilty.
He wouldn't.
For a reduced sentence, and he said no.
He wouldn't take that.
But if the fact that he didn't take that, if he's found guilty, he's going to jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that plays out in court. We'll see how that plays out. Also, the latest on Epstein case, the shocking revelations the FBI deputy director have put out there. So I'll touch on that as well. And Donald Trump actually today, I think. The executive order on prescription drug prices is going to bring that down, I think, to 80% or something like that. So I'll touch on that, what's happening in St. Lucia and across the Caribbean and as well the world, and all that buzz and entertainment, and not forgetting safe streets, stronger communities. And today my focus is on protecting our seniors in our community.
All right.
Okay,
6 o'clock this evening,
yes,
we
Tony
rev
Paul.
up the homegrown. Yes. That's one. And of course, two, since the numbers are up there, let me just take the opportunity to tell the listeners that don't forget the top 10 homegrown is on. Every Saturday, we count them down from number 10 to number 1.
Yeah, and Zen the DJ, he's still under the weather. So all the Zen fans, unfortunately, he won't be with us maybe in another couple of days. So we have to talk about what we're doing for later today. All right, so Kin, have yourself a great show.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
those of you on Facebook, those of you on YouTube, those of you on X, and those of you on DBS, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it. Join us again tomorrow morning, same time from 10 o'clock for another hard drive. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
UWP Sufra Fonseca Constituency Branch invites you to a pre-Father's